What an incredible Cinderella story. This unknown comes out of nowhere to lead the pack. At Augusta, he's on his final hole. He's about 455 yards away. He's going to hit about a 2-iron, I think. Well, he got all of that. The crowd is standing on its feet here at Augusta. The normally reserved Augusta crowd going wild. For this young Cinderella who's come out of nowhere, he's got about 350 yards left. He's going to hit about a 5-iron, I expect, don't you think? He's got a beautiful backswing. He got all of that one. He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy. Tears in his eyes, I guess, as he lines up this last shot. He's got about 195 yards left, and looks like he's got about an 8-iron. This crowd has gone deadly silent. Cinderella story, out of nowhere. A former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion. It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
It's in the hole! AK Jordan, what's going on? Cheers. Coffee cannonball. What do you know about the coffee cannonball? Tis the season for gift giving. More online sales mean retailers need to solve a 50 billion returns problem this holiday season. This is true. Tis the season for giving, and then returning the sweater your mom gave you that didn't fit. The new normal for many consumers is buying gifts from the comfort of the couch. As online sales continue to grow, the amount of items that people are returning during the holidays only continues to grow with them to new records. Shoppers are expected to return $41.6 billion worth of merchandise. $41.6 billion? Bought on the internet this November and December. That's a lot. According to a study by Commercial Real Estate Services, CBRE. Gotta turn the tunes down. That's killing me. And Optoro said that overall returns rate in the retail industry continues to grow at 10% annually. Wait, the returns rate grows at 10%? This year, total returns of purchases made both in-store and online during the holidays are expected to top $100 billion from over $90 billion last year. So does that help UPS and FedEx returning all these? Because the shipping's got to get paid both ways now, you know what I mean? Very interesting, very interesting. United Parcel Service, meanwhile, said it anticipates handling more than 1 million return packages every day this holiday season, reaching a peak of 1.9 million items on January 2nd, which would represent a 26% jump, the highest rate in 2019. Damn, yo, damn. Retail industry should be taking the 41 billion seriously. Companies more than ever need to be prepared to handle a surge of returns of e-commerce orders. If they're not, they risk running into packages getting tangled up along their supply chains, with customers waiting on refunds to hit their credit cards and then returning merchandise going unsold. The retail industry loses 50 billion each year because of inefficiencies with handling returns, and there are more than 10 billion instances annually of needless shipments, which could amount to an item taking an extra trip to a warehouse that could and should have been avoided. The holidays are a time when retailers are seeing all these sales, and that does translate into rising profit margins. Director of Industrial and Logistics Research at CBRE said, however, the returns are quite costly. The costs are the number one stress for the retailers. Wow. So it like eats all their profits, huh? Companies are finding other pain points, especially when return merchandise sits untouched without being processed and turned around to be resold. Returned apparel can lose 20-50% of its value over 8 to 16 weeks. Yeah, electronic devices lose 4% to 8% of their value each month. Damn. So like when something's sitting there, it is just falling in value, huh? give it to other companies, buy or resold worse merchandise. The worst case is they destroy it. Says returns generate 5 billion pounds of waste in the U.S. landfill each year. Some retailers are proactively taking steps to try and ease the pain and trash that comes with returns. Now you can return anything you've bought on Amazon at any one of Kohl's, more than 1,000 stores, and Kohl's doles out coupons to people who use that service. Nordstrom is opening up a pint-sized shop known as Nordstrom Local that don't actually house any inventory but are meant for services like alterations and handling online returns. Huh. Company called Happy Returns has drop-off locations across the country. I've never fucking heard of it, and is partnered with brands, many of which don't have many of their own brick-and-mortar stores, like Shoemaker, Rothy's, and apparel companies Everlane and Revolve, to accept their returns. Target and Walmart have heightened marketing around the fact that shoppers can make their online returns in stores. At kiosks, they've positioned at the front to make it more convenient for people who'd rather than mail items in. This is the worst coffee mug ever. This tiny little fucking hole here. Like, how is this even a handle? How am I supposed to hold this? And then it's like, do I do this? I mean, do I just do that? Do I do this? And like, then it's got to rest against my whole hand down here and shit. And then how do you like set it down? All around worst coffee mug ever made. Right there. U.S. home sales tumbled in November. Of course, it's the holidays. Like, what's the freak out about? It's the holiday. Like, who is moving right now? Who plans on moving right now? Like, oh yeah, I'd love to throw nothing more in with Thanksgiving and Christmas but a nice big move. That sounds fucking great. You know what I mean? Home buying slumped in November with many Americans priced out of the market by rising prices and a shortage of sales listings. The National Association of Realtors says sales of existing homes fell 1.7% last month to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 5.35 million. Would-be buyers face supply constraints. The number of properties for sale has dwindled 5.7% from a year ago to 1.64 million units. Affordability has also been persistent challenge. The median home sales price has climbed 5.4% from a year ago to $257,400, outpacing wage growth. Still lower mortgage rates have provided a base of demand. Over the past 12 months, the decline in the typical mortgage rate fell from 4.9% to 3.8%. This November helped to annually boost sales 2.7%. So mortgage rates are still falling. Interesting. This is very interesting. Like, why is the market, tough spot? My coffee is brewing. What's good? I picked the worst coffee mug today. Okay, this handle here is just the worst. Like, it's so tiny. Like, how am I supposed to hold this thing and set it down and stuff? I hold it like that, just grip the whole thing, just grip it with my grippers. What kind of coffee? I am drinking currently Maxwell House Bold Roast. Not Folgers, but I'm pretty sure the same. Oh my fuck. Somebody's got to teach me about this. I don't know. I need to get a grinder and shit. I was thinking about getting this set. I was thinking about getting this and setting up a camera. This would have been super fucking cheesy though. Alright, like nothing. Where's the simple one yet? Like just this simple one. I wasn't gonna go like too artsy. But it's like a pour over. So I'd need to get a grinder. But it's like a pour over And it comes with a hot water thing. And it sits all on a pad. It'd be like sitting right here on the desk. Folgers and Maxwell's are shit. They give me the shits. I've noticed that. Starting to drink coffee, man. I fucking... Whew. Shit will clear you right up. You know? I don't know if that's everybody, but... Whew. Sometimes I get a little bubbly. Like a little bubble hash is brewing. What do you get? What do you get? Don't even... How do you make your coffee? Do you just have a regular coffee maker? Just drink something other than Folgers and M. Man, I need to step my game up, huh? Chat needs to start linking me. I knew this was going to happen. Now that I start drinking coffee, I'm going to get into it like any of my other hobbies. You know what I mean? Just a regular coffee maker. President Donald Trump was impeached Wednesday night. Doesn't mean dick. By the House of Representatives. Yet stocks were not unnerved on Thursday, ignoring political firestorm and instead focusing on a trade deal with China and an economy that appears to be re-accelerating. Bro, you'd love a nice Starbucks medium blend. Not even Starbucks, just anything. Okay, I should go medium. Don't go for bold. I picked bold out because I was like, I'm bold. Yeah, bold. Maxwell Bold coffee. It had a little thing on there that talked about the Maxwell Hotel. It was like, this is the coffee we served in the hotel of Maxwell House for years. And I was like, oh, well, fuck. I gotta try this. Maxwell House Hotel. That sounds like a nice fucking hotel, you know what I mean? Here I am with the fucking trash. Bold equals soul. Wow, wow, wow. In this way, Trump's impeachment process is shaping up to reflect former President Bill Clinton's, where stocks rallied, as opposed to former Presidents Richard Nixon's, where stocks fell. Equity markets have reached two of the presidential impeachment processes in vastly different ways, according to data from Bank of America. Whoa, Nixon. Whoa. Clinton and Trump. It was a little more, we were a little more hesitant. We were like, S&P 500 fell 13% from the start of impeachment process for Nixon through Nixon's resignation in August 74. Nixon was never formally impeached. Conversely, during Clinton's impeachment process, which went from October 1998 to February 99, the stock index rallied more than 26%. Trump's process is looking more like Trump's. The S&P 500 up nearly 7%. Grinding your own beans is definitely the best way to go, but you would find a huge difference if you tried anything other than Folgers and Maxwell House. Just regular coffee. I drink Tim Hortons and McDonald's homebrew usually. Really? So you don't even grind your own beans, though. Huge difference. Really? I definitely noticed, like, towards the end of my girlfriend's, like, last batch of Maxwell House, just because we were getting to the bottom of the tin and probably been opened and oxidated a little bit, you know what I mean, for time. Like, the new batch is so much better of coffee that we have. So I feel like buying coffee in bulk isn't a thing. You want to, like, small batch buy it so that it stays good. Is that true or false? Yeah, not in bulk. So it's one of those things that you buy, like, weekly or whatever. How often do you say you go purchase the fresh beans? Why am I learning about coffee so much? Oh my god. It's gonna be like herb. So next thing you know, in fucking 10 years, I'm becoming home with fucking coffee medals, tough spot. Be out here starting up Rancorp Coffee Spot, fucking putting Starbucks out of business and shit. coffee metal. I don't order beans, but I'd guess once every 2 weeks you purchase coffee. Well, wait, what is yours? Tim Hortons or McDonald's homebrew? Is it like a K-cup thing? Oh, you mean whole beans? Yours is ground up beans, right? You're buying ground up beans, right? And you get it once every 1 to 2 weeks. I feel like a whole roasted bean would last longer than a ground up bean because a ground up bean has more surface area to oxidate and shit. Yeah, ground up. So you're ground up. So pre-ground beans, a week to 2 weeks is how long I want her to last, huh? Dude, this is always a credit card ad. This bottom corner, news, credit card ad. Every time you load the page. Nice little sneak in there, CNBC. Way to sneak that in there. We see you. The stock market could go up 20% from here. We're just cost averaging our life into the stock market. Slow and steady, guys. We put in that $100 that Twitch paid us out over here. Bada bam. We're cranking it. Yeah, not the K-cup. I grab a bag of coffee like this. I'll message it to you now. Vietnamese coffee might be the strongest thing I've ever had. It was like liquid cocaine and maybe crack. McBond, damn, where do I get that? Vietnamese coffee. McDonald's premium roast. This is what Tough Spot sends us here. McCafe, you know what? I'm not against it, dude. We own McDonald's stock. Like, I love that you're buying the McCafe right here. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to try the McCafe out, brother. I can get it right at my local Kroger. I mean, I saw this stuff. Like, I saw this sitting there. And the Starbucks stuff and all that sitting right in Kroger. I should have done it too. I should have bought from a company that I fucking own stock in. We also own Starbucks stock. We love Starbucks stock. S-Bucks, bro. Look at these divvies. Forget the run-up. Let's look at it, though. Look at the run-up. Look at the run-up, yo. That's a run-up. Forget that, though. Forget that, though. Look at these divvies, baby. Almost 2 points, but look at how much it's growing. Look at the growth, yo. Over 10% in a year. So Sony stock should go up in the next year with PS5 release, right? This is coming from someone who knows nothing about stocks. I don't know. We can take a look at it. I don't want to, like, I don't like to predict on, like, a specific product like that. You know what I mean? Whether the PS5 does good or bad, I think it's more about the whole horizon of the company, its general sales going around, you know? Do they pay a dividend? That's my initial. They do pay a dividend. So you have a little backstop for yourself. It's a really shitty dividend. And it also grows super slow. It's because they said it's the #1 console ever sold. A lot of gamers, I feel like computers these days, though. Smart TVs and computers these days? I don't know. Is consoles still a thing? I feel like consoles was the thing of my generation and our your generation and my generation. Console is dead. See? Interesting. Nah, consoles are still booming. Well, how do you know? When did the last PS4 come out? When did PS4 release? November 15th, 2013. It looks like it just kind of held. It's something else that's a catalyst for their company. Sony Pictures, Jumanji, where do their sales come from? Let's see here. They're like, you need to fucking you need to give us an account to fucking see all this. I don't know, not my favorite tech company. If I was to fire at tech right now, this is where I'm firing at tech. This is it. Disney, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, IBM, AT&T, Verizon, Amazon, Google, Maxar Technologies. This company does satellites. Growing satellite company. Government contracts. Netflix, Micron Technologies, Cisco Systems, Adobe, tiny bit of Facebook. No, I'm asking, like, trying to learn. I have no clue. That's what's up. That's what's up. No, same here. Hold on. We'll start from the beginning so you can see how new I am to it. So I own, like, rental property and real estate. That's where I first invested money. And the year, like literally January of 2019, I started this Robinhood account. Okay? And this is my Robinhood fucking for the year. At first, I was like, I'm going to get in the stock market. And I'm in the cannabis industry. And I see these big guys fucking knocking their way around the industry. So I was like, you know what? I want to get in the stock market this year. I want to diversify. I used to work at Micron. Damn, that's dope. I was like, I want to diversify and fucking get some cannabis stocks. So I started buying cannabis stocks. As you can see, the majority of this portfolio here is in Canopy Growth, 187 shares, and Aurora, over 1,000 shares. Do you have any clue about options? Yeah, don't touch them. Somebody much smarter than us is setting the lines on those and the fees versus the amount that it's got to move, and every time I look at them, they look like trash to me, and I'd rather just buy and hold a stock. You know what I mean? So I've been losing all year. It looks like we're hopefully finding a bottom in the cannabis stocks, you know. Dude, fees don't exist anymore. That's all the deal with options are the best way to invest money, hands down. Not buying them. Sell. Stock market is dead. Dude, fees don't exist anymore. No way. I don't believe in this at all. I don't believe in any of that at all. So being stupid with my money, I put it all in 2 stocks. But then I started learning about dividend paying, you know, conservative, because this is what I want. I want conservative, passive income just flowing in. That's what I love about my rental property. Every month I get a $900 check. $405 of that dollars goes to the mortgage on the property. Send it to me in a private message and I'll check it out. I just don't, no links in the chat for bots that come in and spam and shit like that. Every month, $900 comes in a rental check. $400 of that goes to the mortgage. Somebody else is paying the debt. I have taken out debt on a property and somebody else is making the payments for me. And I also get about $450, $500 a month in spending cash. Now, obviously, some of that gets put away towards maintenance and things like that and upkeep of the property. But that's what I want out of this. I don't want to feel the pain of the up and down. Go to their page, binge watch everything. I mean, I'll take a look at it. Oh, I didn't get a private message. You got to DM it to me. But anyway, so we started investing in that same passive stance over here. Most of everything I've chosen over here, I've chosen 100 stocks that I've put in. I call it the financial sim, my financial simulation. The financial simulation. We have 100 holdings in here. And here you can, this is my exact pie and the way I have it weighted right now. And these all pay a nice dividend. And it performs. And I've been depositing in here since September 9th. And look at it, just steady growth. Just green pastures the whole time. These gains I don't care about because the stock market's going to go up and down. There will be a crash at some point that will erase those basic cost gains. But this dividend number, this is what's interesting to me in growing this. I only have $1,600 in here. And I've only had it in here for 3 months. We've already earned $8 in dividends. Look at this activity log. Look at this. What is today? Today's the 19th, so we haven't had any dividends in 2 days. But on the 17th, United Health Group, 5 cents. The 16th, look at how many companies paid me on the 16th. Wendy's, Stag, McDonald's, Kellogg, Duke Energy, who I pay my energy bill to, Coca-Cola, Steppen. If you want to actively invest and much make a higher ROI, then selling options is the way to go. I mean, I understand it. There's just so much risk involved. I'm not looking for that risk, and I'm not looking to be that much active of a trader and cause all those tax implications. I've tried it, and I'd rather, like, number one, you can't predict the future. If you could predict the future, we'd all be fucking billionaires, you know what I mean? And I've tried trading, and you're not going to beat the computers and the algorithms that are trading on information faster than we're able to get it and things like that. Like, by the time you receive any information, it has already been acted upon in the market, guaranteed. And to think that you can beat people that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on computers that do like micro trades, every transaction is millions of dollars and stuff like that, I just don't think it's a long-term way of looking at growing wealth. Now, if you want to take some of your poker money, which is basically what I looked at, the money that went into cannabis stocks, and my poker money is recreational fund money. And if you want to take some of that, just like we do for poker, like if I would play $1,000 poker tournament, you know what I mean? Like, what's the difference between that and playing some options? You know what I mean? But instead, I would rather just see this consistency and watch this consistency here grow, you know, and just continue to grow that and reinvest into this and watch it snowball over the course of 10, 20 years. I don't need the fast lick, because with that fast gain comes real fast pain. Beer and poker with the host. How's it been, brother man? My third shift brother from another mother. Beer and poker out there. What's good, brother? Don't take it wrong, not trying to jump on you, just the 90% of people are truly uneducated about stocks and options. Absolutely, absolutely. And that's also kind of why I don't recommend anybody get into options, because it's just that next level of leverage that really nobody needs to be taking. I mean, I get it. People do it. There's like books and traders. I watch CNBC all the time. Pretty much if I'm not streaming or something like that, if I'm not watching Twitch, I'm watching CNBC. But I don't know. I like this passive. I mean, this is just chilling. Just chill growing. Up 6% too. Like, how much more crazier do you need? Like, at what point does it become greed? And at what point do you also risk taking the swing back the other way? You know what I mean? Or the least risky way to invest if you understand how they work? Absolutely not. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. That is not true at all. Wonder Worst, what's going on? Thank you for the follow. That is absolutely not true. Wonder Worst, yes. This is our portfolio over here. We started investing in cannabis stocks early in the year, just because I'm in the industry. And I only went with CGC, ACB. We have one share of GW Pharma down here as well. We also did get... I think we sold it out of this portfolio, but we do have Constellation Brands over here, I believe. Pretty sure I got it in here. Pretty sure. I'm East Coast, Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't know why I need to type it in. I'm not doing poker. I don't have a delay. I could just fucking tell you. Constellation Brands, which pretty much now owns Canopy Growth. But they pay a dividend, which is the most important to me. 1.63%. Keeping those checks just rolling in. Word, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. That's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, I think actually owning something. And if you want the least riskiest way to invest, it's fucking actually holding real estate. That's it. Everybody needs a place to live. Land, there's only a finite amount of land. You know, location. Tasty trade. Oh, yeesh. Open a Tasty Workers brokerage account? Oh, yee. I'll look into it at some point. It's just some chicks talking. What's up? Citrus or banana sativa to start the day? Citrus, wake you up. Oh, CNBC. So let's read this article. The market could go up. Stock market go up 20%. Merrill Lynch Wealth Management president. Really? Do we want to watch his video? Let's see what this guy. Really cool. I've been working with stocks for 20 years. That's what's up, Wonderworst. We're trying to grow it out here. I mean, I do a poker channel too, but I also feel like it's good to, like, you know, I don't get all my money from poker, you know. Poker's recreational to me. I hope one day I can get a chunk of money from poker, but I don't count on it.
Or do you worry that things have run so far so fast?
Well, we think the trend's your friend. We're very bullish on the market right now, and I think it's for reasons we've been talking about all morning on the show. It's the economy, earnings, and the Fed. But one of the things we have insight to through our 15,000 financial advisors is just what's the sentiment among Main Street investors today.
See, look at all the data they pull from all their customers.
Investors largely are wary of markets.
They know what you're buying, so they play off of what all their customers are doing. Oh my God, what a great way to aggregate data and then trade based off of it.
Ready to put cash at work. And so what that says to us is we're probably more mid-cycle in terms of this bull market and expansion.
Well, that's been really interesting.
Look at the S-Bucks. Look at Starbucks was up in the corner over there.
Taking a lot of money out of stock mutual funds. That's something that you think gives this way more room to run. This is, you followed this kind of counter sentiment for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, we our upside scenario from our research department today has the S&P at 3,500 and change next year.
End of next year?
You know, mid next year. You know what where we see things lining up right now. We're actually more bullish than that. We think there's an upside scenario that could see the market up 20% from these levels.
Okay, that's a rarity. We don't often talk to people who say that. They all come in and say, "Look, you'll be up mid-single digits next year."
Yeah, I mean, this is if we take a step back, we think we're more. This is a generational bull market. We think this is a
generational
30-year cycle, and we need to remember that because this has been it's been a
30-year cycle.
Years. But the mistakes we see investors make today is
we're just the beginning. This guy thinks. What kind of a dab rig should I start out with, Rand? I like this.
We really could be up another 20%.
Something tiny. So if you're gonna dab off it,
yeah, we are pounding the table, and we're also.
If you're gonna dab off it, you want small, quick, from the hot to your very small air chamber, quick. You know what I mean? I need to change the water in this. Ew. But then you get a banger that hangs off of here. You know what I mean? I don't have one around. Something tiny though. You want something small. You know? I don't have a banger that fits this. It's got a really tiny hole, but this is my favorite piece. I wish I was smoking out of it.
So trying to point to the fact that things like a 60-40 allocation, which has been something you know, clients and advisors have talked about for a long time,
that's
it
stupid,
may be
right?
dead today.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. I think it's been dead a while. You're never going to make enough money if you have 40% of your portfolio in bonds.
Well, and bonds, you know, carry a great deal of risk today. When you point out to clients that a 200 basis point move in rates could take the 10-year down over 11% over the course of 2 years, total return. That's concerning, and so we're pointing that out.
I got a line on $25 grams of shatter. Hey,
shit. The 60-40 message
take it down.
Beaten into their heads for so long that they're afraid to take any alternative.
Well, I mean, that really it brings
I like
us
flour
to
more than oil.
Individual advisors. There's been a lot
I like flour more than oil.
Around what would be the role of financial advisors over the medium and long term, and I think we just landed right on it, which is it takes a
because I like the act of smoking, and like if you do a quick dab, you still want to, you know, I still want to sit back and blaze a bowl or smoke a joint, you know.
A lot that's in your gut, and then
if you sit there and dab 3-4 times, all of a sudden you're fucking blitzed, you know what I mean? Taking a nap.
Me too. I'm 100% equities. That's still, yeah. I mean, I have some cash so that I make sure I've got a cushion so that I'm not locked into it, but I don't have anything in bonds.
Right. And
she's all equities.
In my role, naturally exposed.
Very interesting. %20 upside next year. That's a lot of upside I would love to see over here. Shit. One thing other people don't realize is that these dividends grow. Like, the reason I love Disney and Starbucks so much right now is their dividends are growing at such a fast pace. So not only are you getting 1.2% today off of Disney, and you're getting all the equity growth, you have to hold the stock to get the dividend growth. Look at that, 14%. Imagine. Next year, it's supposed to go up 6% of what it gives now, of this $1.20, of the $1.76. Look at the history. Look at the growth of the dividend. That's the interesting thing to me. Is that something that's paying you, one share that's paying you fucking 88 cents today is going to pay you dollars tomorrow, 20, 30 years down the line. S-Bucks. Look at this, Steady Eddie. You bought a share in 2010, 10 years ago. It was paying you 5 cents. That same share is paying you 41 cents now. Yo, and you just hold. And it's paying you. You're getting paid. Income is coming in. Income is coming in. You don't ever have to sell. The money just rolls in. Rolling in. You have an opportunity in your life to own these big corporations. Instead of hating on them, you get to own them. And they pay you. It's like they work for you. It's like every employee shows up every day to work so that I can sit here and just enjoy my time with you guys. You know what I mean? I think that's pretty interesting. You know? I was thinking dabs for later in the evening when I don't get too high off flour. Yeah, absolutely. Rocking out. They will put you down, that's for sure. Wick and dabs would be mental, yeah. Housing shortage hits new record low, igniting prices. Here's the problem though, is I can sell my rental for max right now, but then I don't get the rental income. And I look at the same thing with the stocks. Like, there's no point to sell them when you're up because then you don't get the dividend. You don't get the dividend income. That's why this number here doesn't even really matter. This number doesn't matter, and this number doesn't matter. You're just putting it in to get this. I mean, it matters. Don't get me wrong. It fucking matters. You don't want to tank, but I think starting the days out slowly, the lights of even increasing, getting more high throughout the day. Dabs first thing in the morning, I'd be wrecked. You'd be right back to sleep is what happens. Then you wake up, do it again, you go back to sleep. The rise of Amazon has led to a split between thriving and struggling malls. These days in the country's most upscale malls, it seems like shoppers are doing everything but perusing apparel. Consumers can play glow-in-the-dark mini-golf at Simon's Property Group, Roosevelt Field in Garden City, New York, see a concert at the Outdoor Plaza in Virginia, and go to the Equinox Gym in Westerfield, Central City, Los Angeles. That's a far cry from the mall that brings in lower sales per square foot. For instance, retailers ranging from JCPenney, Sears have left Malcon Mall in Malcon, Georgia in recent years, leaving the mall with few national apparel chains. Yeah, people don't care about buying clothes anymore in the mall. Don't invest in the malls. Absolutely not. I'm super out. That's out. Amazon. Closest thing I get, because I do have some retail stuff. We have a whole section for it. We have Target, Kroger, you know, we've got Home Depot, Wally World, Walmart, Costco, Wendy's? I'll order that McDonald's coffee for you if you don't do it. No, I'm definitely doing it. I'm definitely going to hit the order, bro. It's getting ordered, trust. It's getting ordered in American dollars for sure. Maxwell life is Maxwell fuck off. Damn. I'm with you, dude, though. I'm with you. Plus, we own McDonald's stock, so I'm buying it. Like, I'm gonna buy it and support the stock I own. I might buy Starbucks, to be honest. Would that make me super basic? People be like, fuck you, bruh. You know what I'm saying? We need cannabis stocks. They have had such a volatile... Look at this. Just in a week. We were almost back to $3 at one point. Are we starting to trade in this little range here? We're finding a bottom, is that what it is? We're finding a little range to trade within. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't retest this like kind of level here. They have blonde, medium, and dark generally. What's the difference? Like what? Coffee roasting. Somebody's got to have us a good fucking explanation of this, right? Is there a video of it? Planet Design, the Java Express. Kind of like this video shows a dude like actually roasting bean. Seattle Coffee Gear. I like this dude. This dude looks like he's doing something. So tell me what you're doing, bro. That looks like a big thing of coffee.
I wanted to spend a few minutes today talking to you about equal exchange and the way that we roast our coffees.
No. I don't want to get sold on your shit. YouTube, tell me about it, bro. Hawaiian Coffee Company.
Aloha, I'm here at the Hawaii Coffee Company at the Lion Cafe. Let's go get some brew and get educated. Aloha, I'm Lanai from Cooking Hawaiian Style and Hawaii.com TV, and we're here in the heart of Kalihi at Lion Coffee with one of the most sought-after roasters in Hawaii. We got Daryl here. How you doing?
How's it, Lanai?
Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to show you how we drink coffee in Hawaii.
All right, get to it.
What light, medium, dark is all about. You're going to tell us today.
Typically with a light roasted coffee, the flavors are the most distinct at this stage. Inherent with each region are particular flavors.
Oh, so dark and bold is like just baking the cooking the bean
They are the
away.
brightest, and probably at this stage the most acidic. Now the medium roast, as you get a little darker, you're going to reduce the acid level.
Okay.
You're going to have a more balanced and bold flavor. This will be a smoother cup of coffee. And all around, you're looking for balance. So,
But the lighter you go will make you. That's the sickness you get.
I like it.
That's
Let's
the
talk about
bubbly
this dark roast,
guts.
'cause
Is
I'm
that what that
thinking,
is?
I'm
Is
sure
that what they're
everyone else
saying here?
agrees, this probably has the most caffeine.
Most people think that, and unfortunately, that's not correct.
Really?
Now, when you get to a dark roast like this, what's happening is you're
You've
spending
burnt
more
the
time in
beans.
the roaster, and consequently, you're cooking a lot of that caffeine off.
Makes sense.
So now, as you get this dark, you will taste more of the roast and less of the distinction from the region. From
What?
Oh, right. Well, this is Daryl here.
So
at
I'm not
Lion
even
Coffee.
tasting beans. I'm just tasting burnt
Go to
fucking.
Hawaii.com and
carbon.
click on the dining and shopping section to get more
Fuck
cool
me.
information.
Fucking shit. Dude, you're gonna get me down this rabbit hole of coffee. We're gonna be doing some fucking craziness. Whoa, this guy's got hella videos. Okay, dude, way to take over the fucking shizzle. Whoa, look at that bean. It's a white bean. What? Coffee is a white bean? What? You guys are blowing my fucking mind right now. How coffee is made. Finding this really interesting too. I never really looked into it that much. What is a coffee bean? I want to know about the coffee bean. How is coffee harvested? Is this going to be one of those sad, like, Vice News things, though? Where they're like, off the backs of immigrants in a poor country, they get paid 1 cent per pound. Whoa, look at all those beans. They're white. They look like peanuts. They're like peanuts. They are like peanuts. It's like a seed, right? Whoa, it's like growing weed. It's like an outdoor weed grow.
And today we're going to pick coffee because it's December, early December, and it's great for
Wait, they're picking coffee right now?
We're in a coffee plantation in the slopes of the Barva volcano, Poás over to the left, Poás volcano as well. First of all, I'd like to start with the basket, the canasto. It's made of a natural fiber.
Here's the cola.
In the mountains. And this device over here is what
this is our trim scissors.
To tighten your belt, which is leather, and then of course rope. Back in the day when I had black hair, I used to have a six-pack. Now I have a beer belly, I guess, or a cage, beer cage instead. Anyway, this device you use to tighten it. I think one turn or a couple will do in my case. I used to have to do many turns. But this is how it happens, and you have the rows of coffee over here. As I have told you,
dude's trying to make fat jokes,
the coffee
but it doesn't translate well for him.
Begins in November and goes all the way to almost March. So
oh damn, it's coffee harvesting season. Take your trim crew down south and harvest coffee. Damn, just round those hippies up that are finishing up in Cali. Round them up. We're doing a trip to Costa Rica. You guys are picking my coffee beans. Let's go.
One of them is for the coffee to be hand-picked as opposed to
it's got to be hand-picked.
It hurts the tree.
It's a tree.
Arabica coffee, the volcanic soils. I just mentioned
$20 an hour, all you can drink.
That we have in Costa Rica. Certain amount of sunshine. We can see the ocean from here. We'll look at it at the end, of course.
They probably have coffee addicts. Have you ever seen the Mad TV coffee guy?
Those are 5 conditions for gourmet.
They should have done a skit of him fucking going to the coffee farm. Oh my god.
And you must be quick, and also you throw them in your basket, not outside. And you must
make sure you get them in the basket.
The green ones, or so that you can pick it when it ripens, but not now. So this is pretty much how it is. I have to pull it with one hand, but in the lower branches,
if I make
can
this
use
big,
both
will it be fucking
hands and fingers, for instance. Of course, leave-in, and it falls into your basket, but you do have to leave the green ones. This is really how it's done. In Costa Rica, it's great income for the families for 3 months, and this is how the coffee comes from our plantations to your cup. So thank you very much for watching. Please write to us or talk to us about hands-on experiences in Costa Rica. For
it really is in Costa Rica.
If you're
I was just kind of joking around.
Or a coffee connoisseur, or just curious. And thank you very much. Here is a look.
I want to go check out a coffee field.
See? It's going to be red. Okay, and the coffee seed is actually only 20% of this coffee bean. We thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go back with my roll of coffee until I finish. It's going to be a while now.
It's going to be a while now. So the natural drying process. Show me this. I want to see all this in a video. Dang it. Take me to the YouTubes. How coffee beans are grown and harvested. Wait, can I have a coffee tree at home? No, I could have my own? No. Are you for real? No. Can I buy a coffee tree?
Coffee mill. You can see it has this.
I will grow a coffee tree up in this bitch.
And this is these knobs will tear off the flesh of a coffee cherry, exposing the coffee beans. You put the coffee cherry up here at the top.
Chat, are we gonna buy a coffee tree today?
And
oh my god, I just got so fucking excited right now.
Here, and you can then set them out in the sun to dry for a few days. This is the first.
Damn, this dude's a real farmer. Let's go.
Is you have to.
You gotta haul the bean out.
The raw coffee cherries and get the beans out.
Picking, milling, drying, parchment removal, roasting.
What we're gonna do today is we're gonna make a cup of coffee, but we're gonna start from scratch.
What? This dude is awesome. This dude is getting my sub for sure. Thumbs up. Let's go.
Roast them and grind them, and finally we'll have our cup of coffee. But it's going to take several days, so we're going to need to get started right away. And it all starts out here in a coffee orchard. It starts with these.
I know it's cool smoking your own tomato.
Cherries.
Seriously, this guy took a dab for sure. He's like, I'm about to videotape this. Let's go.
Is a picker's basket.
His basket's a lot nicer.
Let's see if I can figure out how
modern plastic basket.
The basket will hang off the front, off my front.
Dude, can you imagine you need to pick that whole thing for one pot of coffee?
On my
I bet. I hope he shows that.
How
much one of those bins makes in coffee. Yeah, alright, dude. You got some fucking airplane seatbelts, you attached it to a fucking portable toilet, and you're ready to go. Let's go.
It's going to rain pretty soon. This is a perfect climate for growing.
Attached it to like one of those plastic drawers.
At elevation in the tropics, and they love rain.
Elevation in the tropics, and they love rain. I don't know how much rain it gets
on this farm here, but it is probably over 150 inches a year. In fact, it may start raining on us now.
Damn.
So we're going to have to hurry. If we come up and look at a healthy tree, you'll see that there's a large stump on the bottom.
Clean it up. You gotta lollipop it.
As the tree grows, it gets
you gotta lollipop
and has to re-sprout from the stump.
Oh.
This is done to keep the coffee cherries
lower to the ground,
coming out and forming.
Oh, at a certain age it stops.
Turn into a large tree, you wouldn't get this many of the coffee cherries. So this is
so it's manageable though. This is manageable.
Now here's another stump, and you can see how many times it's been cut in the past. But it keeps growing and it keeps producing coffee cherries.
Damn.
As a coffee picker, we're going to get paid by the weight. We want to pick the red ones off, and we want to leave the green ones and the yellow ones.
As a coffee picker, we're going to get paid by weight. Did this guy retire on a coffee farm? This guy retired on a coffee farm, didn't he?
And of course, that's going to affect the flavor of the coffee. It's going to have more of a soury taste. So we pick the cherries off and put them in our bucket.
How many you need for a cup of coffee, bro?
All right, this represents about 10 minutes worth of work on one coffee tree.
10 minutes?
Normally,
all right.
When we're harvesting
cherry like this,
there'll be a crew of maybe 10 or 15 people, and they can harvest 1,000 or 2,000 pounds of coffee per day.
Damn.
And it will go to
a ton of coffee a day?
The road.
That's a truckload. They treat it like a
use
truckload.
Something small like this. But we're going to make 1 cup of coffee today, so we'll use this hand-cranked mill, and we'll see what happens.
So I need a hand-cranked mill if I'm going to get a coffee tree. Load a couple in. Oh, you can kind of see it. Just peels it right off. What? They're white? Coffee beans are white, guys. They're like peanuts. Can you make peanut coffee? What else can you make coffee out of? I guess it's a coffee plant bean. It's like a tea. This is just a form of tea.
Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute, and let's look in the back.
It's spitting all the butts out the back, huh? Whoa.
You can see the husks are falling out underneath the machine. This little drum peels the husks off and leaves the seeds. It separates the two.
Get out of here, chicken. I'm trying to make some coffee. Put some distillate in your coffee. I have
this
some
is
and
what
should.
you wind up with.
I could drop a little oil
You
in
can
the
see
coffee.
the husks down at the bottom here, the red husks.
Alright, hold on. Y'all stare at the chicken for 2 seconds. I'm going to get a cup of coffee and I'll join you in that. We needed a new cup of coffee. Dab. Coffee. Let that dissolve in there. Hot coffee, it's perfect.
And you can see chickens don't really like them.
Firing
And
it up.
over in the box, you can see the raw coffee beans. The next step will be to take the coffee beans and to lay them out in the sun for a few days to dry.
Cheers, White Smoke. What's good? I think I just swallowed part of a dab. Oh. Watching videos makes it a lot easier on you, the streamer, too. Milanakis watches a lot of videos on his channel.
In
Really?
the sun for 4 days.
Gotta just find shit I like to learn about.
Dry. You can see there's a layer of skin on
Whoa.
the outside of the coffee bean.
Cannabis coffee. It
It's
actually
known
has a
as
distinct
parchment.
taste.
So there's basically a green coffee bean with this tan-colored parchment on the outside.
Really?
If you're ever going to store coffee, this is the best way to do it.
Leave it with the
But
parchment
if you
on?
want to roast coffee, you will have to take the parchment skin off, in which case you'll be left with something known as green coffee, which we have right here. Green coffee is parchment coffee with the parchment removed, and it's ready for roasting. You can see there's a very fine skin on the outside of the green coffee, known as silver skin, but that comes off naturally during roasting. So the next step for us will be to remove the parchment from our coffee. And because we don't have very much, there are some very tricky little techniques we can use.
I don't know if I like that. Stick to just coffee next time. Woo! I feel the grittiness of the heath and shit. Ah. Wait, he's fucking chopping them up before he roasts them? Just a little bit. Oh, hey, bro. Relax with the machinery, dog. Now, come the fuck on, bro. Oh, this is how he's removing the parchment. That's how he removes the parchment. You could just make one of those seed sorters. Dude, a seed separator is all you need. God, I could do that so much easier than this guy. Alright, so now you got all your beans. You've got them. They've sat outside in the sun. And you got the parchment off, the skin off of it afterwards. Am I going to keep torturing myself with this drink here? It's getting better. Oh. It's not getting better. I'm lying to myself.
Okay,
I want it to be good.
Roasting coffee in a pan.
That's not good.
Is to keep it stirred up. Keep it moving.
Wait, you're just gonna roast it in a pan here? Bruh.
It's been about 3 or 4 minutes into this, and you can see it's starting to turn brown slightly. Also, some of the silver skin chaff is coming off. You can see that in the pan as well.
Okay. Damn, he takes it pretty far. This is a lot of work for 1 cup of coffee. Like, bro, you do this every day? Half your day is making the coffee to wake up. This is like the Bob Ross of coffee bean prep.
We're at the stage now.
It totally is. It totally is.
Popcorn.
Oh my god. You literally like pop them. Oh, hey. Wow, I never knew this. Who was the first person to do this? Like, who was like, yeah, this fucking seed, I'm gonna roast this seed up and fucking grind it up and mix it with some water and make a drink out of it. Oh, shit. Oh, they popping. Oh, bro. You want that. He's like, hell yeah, you want that popping. Oh. Ow. Ow, ow. They're like, for real, like popcorn.
Now, I'm not an expert on roasting coffee, but this does look like something that I could drink. So I'm going to take this.
Damn, so he takes it pretty far. Wait, so does this guy have no idea what he's doing? He was like, I'm not an expert. Like, shouldn't you be an expert? What are you doing? I thought we were experts at this. This guy's fucking it up. We don't even know.
You can see all the silver skin that has come through the colander onto the stove underneath. We'll let that cool down and then we'll try some.
Yeah, that was really dumb to do over your stove. What the hell am I watching? Good day, sir. Stacks Nasty. We're trying to figure out how to make coffee, I guess. I was trying to see if is it plausible that I buy a coffee tree. That got better. Now it's better. And I put a dab in my coffee. So it literally is coffee and cannabis today. Now it's all stuck down in his stove. It is. He's got to clean all that shit out of there. Now he's going to do this. Slow down, bro. What is this?
And there you have it. From the farmer's field to the coffee cup. Some fun.
That was a lot of work, bro. That was a lot of work. I want to know, like, commercial. Michigan grown coffee. Oh, whoa. Is this a thing? Whoa, this is for real a thing. Like, I could actually do this. This is close to home. No way. Dude, I have a huge backyard.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the M.I. Gardner channel. So, I have been teasing about doing this video for probably about a month now, and so many of you have been requesting that we do it that I finally said, you know what? I think it is time. So, we are doing a harvest video today. Believe it or not, we're doing a harvest video of the craziest thing I have ever grown, which is coffee. I am so excited about this because if you remember, if you've been following this channel
Don't
for
punt.
time,
Okay, so I'm here to teach. I played for 7 hours last night in the $2 Donkaman. So what's the number one rule in poker? I mean, absolute number one rule. Don't punt. Wrong. What's the number one rule? Patience? I'd take patience.
last year we did a coffee harvest.
Basically, don't
video
punt.
as well. However, it included a harvest of only 3 coffee beans. It was
Wrong.
very, very, very small. And with that, we actually roasted them and made the world's smallest cup of coffee.
Go for the
I
win.
recommend checking out that video. It was a ton of fun, and Mrs. Emma Gardner actually tasted the coffee and
Don't be a pussy.
And guessed which one she thought was the homegrown. We compared it against a pretty reputable store-bought brand. And kind of just put them up head-to-head. It was pretty fun, but it wasn't really enough to get a full cup of coffee. So this year, all of that is going to change, I think. So before I do a harvest, I want to
Do not ever, and I mean ever, attempt to bluff a bad poker player. Why? Because they call.
Now, I will warn you, it does look a little sickly.
They don't fold.
That's because coffee, especially of this size tree, really
Discipline
truly does
and
take a
control.
beating during the winter months. Especially this year, we've had so many overcast days. I think I was hearing on the news that there's been a record number of overcast days, or days with complete cloud cover this year. So this is an all-time low for sunlight, and trees like tropical plants. I've got a couple other tropical plants here as well, like my Washington navel orange and my Meyer lemon, which aren't dying, but they're definitely not growing, and they certainly would appreciate a little more light. The coffee is really not doing the greatest. I've got it under, as you can see, some artificial light. That's what's so bright back there. I got some artificial light pumping down.
I got 1,000 watt.
The canopy being so thick, I really can't get enough light to even touch all the leaves. So without those sun,
no, today's the day off for me.
So
Top spot on poker.
Don't worry, it's not dying. It just always does that. I will have a video coming out very, very, very soon of us.
I just can't have it consume the evening. Gonna go out to dinner and stuff like that, you know.
Pot this because it needs to go in the next size up pot to continue its growth, and that is.
Playing 7 hours, forgot to get comfy.
I'm very excited about it though, because this will be the final up pot. This will be enough soil to sustain its life through its full, through its entire life. This tree, a lot of people have asked how old it is actually 6 years old. This is almost its sixth birthday actually in February. Mrs. My gardener and I went to a conservatory, and it was, I think, maybe our second or third date. Pretty bad that I can't remember, but it was our second or third date. I was visiting her in Chicago, and we went to a conservatory, and they were sweeping up coffee beans on the floor. And I asked the guy, the janitor that was sweeping them up, I said, "What are you guys gonna do with these?" And he said, "Well, we're gonna throw them out." I said, "Well, can I take a few?" And he said, "Well, you're really not supposed to take them from the conservatory." And so I said, "Oh, okay." And I walked away. And on my way back, the temptation kind of got the best of me. And you know, self-incriminating. Obviously, I'm admitting this, but you know, just don't do it. You're not really supposed to. But that's where I actually got the seeds, and this is very sentimental.
What?
This tree means a whole lot because it's really been with me my entire time that I've been with Mrs. M.I. Gardner. Before we were married, before I even...
Alright, okay. Fucking harvest some shizzle, bro.
The sun does shine. It gets a lot of light from the sun, so yeah, it's looking awesome. That's a money. And it's a lot of fun. In fact, we actually... much on still cost. Mid to late. I am shocked. I am absolutely shocked.
I'm over it, dude. This dude does it. That's the same guy. I don't want to hear him talk. The story of coffee? He might be hiding something in his closet. How are we doing today over here? We're on the comeback? What a buying opportunity yesterday.
Trying to find the night. Conversation, laughter, debauchery. Then morning.
Just chilling.
And I realize it's all just a search for connection.
What is this?
It would be easy to...
This is too fucking slow for me. I want to know how coffee is commercially harvested. I want to see, like, big machines fucking doing shit. Search Gail Bedecker coffee. Who's Gail?
Some video clips from my past trips to Ethiopia to explain a little about the details and intricacies of processing in Ethiopia and how it differs from other countries. This footage is from Shakiso, but the pickers are actually from Sidamo. They're brought in because there's a labor shortage. A lot of the locals are gold miners. The singing was pretty much for show for the group of visitors. Ethiopia, they not only produce a lot of coffee.
How do I do that?
It's the birthplace of coffee. But they roast and
Ethiopia was the birthplace of coffee, really? Is that true?
When we say traditional and ceremony, you think it's rare, but this is actually, for many people, a daily occurrence. I'm going to make some comments about the natural coffees, and then we'll look at the wet.
This lady's like, why is he filming us right now? I don't like this dude. This dude is weird. I'm not doing shit.
We'll go direct to the beds to dry to produce naturals. The problem with naturals is you don't have the assistance of any machines to help remove underripes or defective fruit. So everything has to be done by hand. In a sense, the fact that hand labor is cheap in Ethiopia is something that we all benefit from. Not everywhere can afford to produce naturals. Those were very fresh cherries from the day before, and here's coffee cherry from several days of drying, still quite wet.
They're cherries.
It's important to
She's
do a
in
very
trouble.
thin layer of fruit on the bed and to rotate it. But again, these pickers are doing this mainly for show. This wouldn't be their normal labor practice in rotating the coffee cherry. Here the cherries are quite dry and they're forming hard pods, and soon they'll be milled. Naturals are always milled in the local area before they're brought to Addis for export. Now this is the beginning of a wet process where they're doing some pre-sorting and cleaning of the coffee cherries that come in. And the underripes are going to be removed mechanically, more or less. This kind of pre-screening is a little bit rare in Ethiopia. This is a rather technified wet processing mill. This is the pulper, and this is called the kriba, which is a Latin American term for this drum, where the underripe coffee cherry cannot pass through the space within the metal bars and will stay in the interior to be separated.
What?
The pulped coffee is washed through to go to the fermentation tank. Pulped means the skin has been removed.
So that's after milling.
And the skins of the coffee fruit are washed out.
There's always one lazy guy doing nothing.
These are returned to the trees in the form of compost.
Ah.
In Ethiopia, there's
like
two
this,
types
kids?
of fermentation. There's dry fermentation, where they drain the water out of the concrete fermentation tank. This is called aerobic fermentation because more oxygen is allowed access to the coffee.
So coffee beans are fermented?
But in some areas, coffee is fermented underwater, like the top of this fermentation tank. You can even see the fermented coffee producing off-gas.
CO2, yeah.
This is called anaerobic fermentation.
What?
After the coffee is fermented, which means that the fruity mucilage layer on the outside is broken down, it's agitated. They were agitating in the fermentation tank, which is rare. Most of this happens in the grading channel. The wooden rakes help to loosen any of the residual mucilage, the sticky fruity layer from the outside of the coffee. But the washing channel also separates heavy coffee from light coffee, since the light coffee floats down the channel first. The dense coffee is pushed against the current back up to the top of the washing channel. Dense coffee will be separated into a different fermentation tank.
What? This is crazy. They like make a human machine. Did you see them all like going together? They're just like all moving as one here.
The dense coffee is pushed against the current back up to the top of the washing channel. The dense coffee will be separated into a different fermentation tank.
Like it's like a machine.
Destined for higher quality lots, whereas the light coffee will go into.
Boy, Andrew Yang should go down there and give those boys $1K a month.
Taken out for the start of the sun drying process.
At one point, that will be gone. Trust.
Skin drying. And later, as the coffee approaches 10 to 11%, which is the final stage for warehousing it.
So it dries again.
Pretty much continuously during that time.
Hand-picked.
When the coffee's fully dried, it's bulked up into bags and stored in the warehouse. This resting time's important.
This dude is like, get this camera the fuck off of me.
And equalization and physical stability. Then the coffee's ready to transport to Addis Ababa to the dry mill. In the dry mills, if it's a wet processed coffee, the parchment skin's removed and it's sorted for color and density and size. And most importantly, it's hand sorted at the end of the process before export. This is a natural coffee, so it would have come to Addis Ababa already peeled out of the husk. But the other steps are very important.
Did she wash her hands? This is crazy. All your coffee is like this. Gets touched by hella people before it gets to you.
And it's ready for roasting.
Look at this shit. Look, this is your boy, my boy. This is what's about to happen to all those hands. Look, do you see that big ass machine? Watch this. Seed to cup. Manual harvest. People have jobs stripping the tree. Farmer gets tired of paying these people. Sometimes they break tree. Sometimes they steal. Alright, come on. Harvesting happens all year like Colombia. I don't know, we're gonna find out. Alright, you're up all night to get lucky. Come on. After picking cherries, natural tree dried beans and green beans, blah, blah, blah. Each bag holds, damn, 1,200 kilograms. That they're over a ton. Look at this. Woo! Fire it up, boys. Fire it up. Damn, they're about to fucking do work. Look at that. Damn, that tree got raped, though. Jesus. Did that work? I don't know if that worked. That seemed like that just rapes the trees. Damn, 300,000. Look at that thing. Truckload. Truckload. I lost the $10 free roll again. I hate poker. Just gotta be, you know, right here. 10 bucks. Throw it in, $10 at a time. Look at this, 6% returns here. We're chilling. 55 bones. Don't worry, they have another coming around. It's true. Every hour, right? Every 2 hours. Free roll it up. Tree-dried beans float. Tree-dried beans float. Cherries and green beans are heavier, so they sink. Separate them from natural tree-dried. The depulpers having a rotated sieve that separates pulped natural beans from green ones, whose skins are hard to remove. Through friction among the beans, depulpers remove the husk from the cherries, creating pulp natural coffees. Damn, look at this thing. Holy shit. Removing the husks one or another. Few farms will have wet structures, wet milling process allowing preparation of pulp naturals fully washed. Damn, look at him laying beans out to dry in the sun. Wow. That dude just fucking crushed a pile of beans, so these things are strong. He's just driving over them, no big deal. Lost my $6 profit betting women's Korean basketball at 2 a.m. last night. Oh my god. Degen style. What are we betting women's Korean basketball? What do we know about that? They gotta just keep driving over him. Look at that job. I'll do that job. That looks like a fucking sweet job. Just fucking ride a motorcycle around all day? What? How much is this dude getting paid? Is this coffee or dirt? Like, I feel like they're being, like, super aggressive. Must reach a humidity level of 22%. 1 to 3 days. Distributed to one of the 16 existing mechanical dryers. So then what do they dry it to? This dude's standing in the dryer? That seems pretty sketch. They keep the parchment as a fertilizer? Okay. They go to wooden bins. Preserve the coffee characteristic will keep them resting there for up to the moment when they are dry milled and exported. Beans will be separated by screening size and then put into bags. Two kilograms of Koski and husk will give 1 kilogram of coffee milled and ready to be exported. Color sorting machines also read defects and reject them. Damn, green coffee beans classification. Look at this dude. Sort coffee, the stage important to guarantee the good cup results, clients say. What? A professional cupper. Cup the balls, man. Sample roasting, sensory evaluation. After classification, the sensory evaluation of coffee, first coffee sample must be roasted. What? This is crazy. What? SCAA cupping protocol to evaluate its coffee lots and attributes such as sweetness. What the fuck? Dude, this guy's just getting high all day off coffee. Like, what? Like, here, you be our junkie taster. We'll get you a nice salary and get you all the coffee you could ever drink. Here you go, junkie. Hop on in. Wow. I have a newfound respect for the coffee. Newfound respect for the coffee. A lot goes into getting you a cup of coffee. Where's Octavo? What? Is it just that? Is this just a coffee place? That's just a coffee place, huh? That's crazy to me. That's just a coffee? That's just coffee, huh? That is wild to me. Is my job a Ponzi scheme? Look at all these clickbaity, super clickbaity fucking photos and shit. Like, chill out, bro. Chill. Chill. Calm down. Calm down. What is this? Goldman Sachs is in advanced negotiations with the U.S. Department of Justice to pay about $2 billion in fines tied to its role in the 1MDB scandal, according to people with knowledge of the matter. What is that? While the talks haven't been finalized, the deal could be reached in the next month. Is it 1MDB? Is that like 1 million to billion to billions, and they're only just going to pay $2 billion? What is this? Deal could be reached next month. To decline to be identified, an Asian subsidiary of the investment bank may plead guilty to violating U.S. anti-bribery laws, and Goldman will have to create an independent monitor to oversee compliance efforts. Oh, great! We're gonna create a review board that's gonna review us and tell us we're good. A settlement would lift the cloud that's hung over Goldman and CEO David Solomon since he took over for Lloyd Blankenfeld in late 2018. Goldman bankers have been accused of helping a Malaysian financier plunder billions of dollars from the $6.5 billion 1MDB investment fund, money that was meant to spur the country's economic development. The bank has previously said that just 2 ex-employees were responsible for the scandal and that it's difficult to prevent determined staffers from circumventing controls. Foldman Gold partner pled guilty to the fraud last year and this week was barred from working in the finance industry. Oh my goodness. So they plundered $2 billion, or they plundered probably more than $2 billion. Spokeswoman for the bank and a Justice Department declined to comment. The Wall Street Journal, potential settlement. Bloomberg was reported the $2 billion figure. This deal, Goldman may be avoiding the worst potential outcome of the international scandal. Analysts, including Wells Fargo and Mike Mayo, have estimated the cost tied to resolving could be as high as $5 billion. The fact that Goldman's Asian subsidiary rather than parent company is likely to plead guilty to a crime will likely contain any potential business impact of the admission. The New York-based bank is still in the midst of separate negotiations with Malaysian authorities who have filed criminal charges against the firm. Oh shit. Shit's going down. Just shaking off the impeachment, huh? They're like, we don't care, we're business. Chipotle's gonna have a fucking drive-thru, huh? I think it's about time. I think they should have done a drive-thru before. Damn, restaurants in Chicago, Cincinnati, Phoenix, Newport Beach, San Diego will be part of the test. Both new and existing locations will be involved in the trial. The test will also cover a variety of types of restaurants, including an urban storefront, a standalone location with a Chipotle lane, its drive-thru lane for digital orders. The feature include walk-up windows, different seating arrangements to decide which design will roll out nationally, blah, blah. Staying true to the heritage, changing it up. Look at this walk-up window. A walk-up window? Joe Biden's fundraising network is about to get a big boost just in time for 2020. Mark Lazary and Blair Efron, 2 of the most influential and prolific Wall Street Democrat fundraisers, are lining up behind the former vice president in the presidential primary race. Blah, 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 blah. I don't really care about politics too much. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. Renewable shares of electricity generation surpass gas for the first time in the UK. UK saw electricity generation from renewables hit 28.8 terawatt hours in the third quarter of 2019, according to the figure released Thursday, just bettering gas-generated electricity. Department for Business, Energy, Industrial Strategies, Energy. Trends publications show that renewables' share of electricity generation hit 38.9% between July and September. This record figure was also, for the first time ever, very slightly higher than shares for gas. Wow. Electricity powered by nuclear fell to 18.4% compared to 23% the same period in 2018. Coal accounted for 1%. Overall, fossil fuel shares and generation dropped to 40% in the third quarter of 2019, which authorities describe as a record low. By contrast, low-carbon electricity share grew to 57%, a record high, of course. Breaking renewables down, bioenergy generated in the third quarter of 2019 came to 8.9. What is bioenergy? Hydro was responsible for 1.4, 58% increase compared to a year earlier. That was due in no smart part to described as the wettiest August since 2000. Wind generation hit 14.1, with onshore and offshore wind production growing by 24% and 43% compared to a year earlier. Solar photovoltaic production, 4.4, which represents a 2.8% decline. A historic tipping point, with renewables outperforming gas for the first quarter ever. This is great news, all of us who have committed to reaching a net zero emissions as fast and as cheaply as possible. Wow. I mean, that is pretty crazy. Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Whoa. Jim Cramer's mad at FedEx, huh? Why? Why are you mad, Jim?
I don't know how to fix FedEx, the company. That's too hard. I'm not in that game. But I do have some suggestions for how to turn the stock around. First, I would stop doing what CFO Alan Graff did on the call, which was basically predict the bottom when there's no bottom in sight. They need to start being more realistic. Stop calling bottoms. Second, they should stop giving guidance entirely if they can't make an accurate forecast. When you don't know what's happening, when you're overrun by events, it's better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Finally, FedEx needs to stop trying to stay highly profitable and instead spend the money they need to be competitive in a world where e-commerce is growing much faster than they ever expected. They need to take that darn hit. And if that means bringing in a new management, so be it. Look, FedEx keeps messing up, but this company is not a disgrace. The real disgrace is that management keeps believing they've got it right, when in reality, they're dead wrong. Stop the predictions, stop the sham guidance, and take the time to figure
So
it
they're
all out.
fucked. So FedEx is fucked, is what you're saying. Options action, huh? I love Johnson & Johnson. We got them. We got them. We got them in here. Got them in here. I don't get to look at it because it's a pro. Whoa, this is huge. Nearly 7% of Disney Plus users with Netflix plan to cancel Netflix, survey shows. Whoa. Bank of America, 1,000 Americans, so not that many people. They didn't poll that many people. There's 300 million Americans. You only poll 1,000? Come on. So a significant group of Netflix and Disney Plus users have told Bank of America they expect to cancel their Netflix subscriptions, rekindling concerns that the new combatants in Wall Street streaming wars could hamstring current players. 6.5% of respondents who use both services said they plan to terminate their Netflix account. However, that they have doubts as to whether the survey respondents will follow through on their plans. We're skeptical that much of the churn is incremental or will be realized, with Bloomberg reporting Netflix has seen no increase in cancellations 10 days after Disney launch. Yeah, I don't think so. This level of churn is realized could be higher than expected. In other words, if people actually cancel Netflix subscriptions as fast as B of A survey suggests, brokerages across Wall Street would have to readjust their revenue forecasts. To be sure, Bank of America remains positive on Netflix as a whole and recommends investors buy the stock. If the stock performs as well as analysts post over the next 12 months, stakeholders will be up 35%, a healthy return for the stock trader and ahead of the S&P 500, 2019 gain of 27%. In fact, Bank of America found that comparing with its prior survey, overall cancellation intentions for Netflix fell slightly to 4% from 5%. I think Netflix will be alright, Because everybody gave them enough time to start creating their own content. And all these Netflix originals are really taking off and doing well. All the Netflix comedian stuffs is doing really well. And I think that's what's going to stick them around. That's they're going to be their sticking point, is their content. Content is king these days. Content is king. Beyond Meat? Tell me about it. Tell me about the pea farmers.
America's pea farmers are losing money. Jane Wells is in Flaxville, Montana with more on what might save them.
Montana pea farms, baby.
Hi, Carl. Yeah, peas are cheap, high in protein, and yeah, currently not very profitable. Tariffs, look at this, from America's two largest customers, India and China, have caused exports to plummet, and most of the market is an export market, but domestic demand may help at least one farmer.
So these are yellow peas that have been treated.
Treated?
Paul Canning is a fourth-generation farmer.
What do you mean
and Air
treated?
Force veteran. He's taken a risk.
What are we treating him with?
More expensive seed from Purist Foods, which is trying to beef up pea protein supplies for companies like Beyond Meat. Cargill has invested $100 million into Purist to win farmers over. But did I mention this was Montana, cattle country?
There's this kind of friction between beef growers and pea growers on things like Beyond Meat. I guess my approach on that is it's not really for the farmer or rancher to decide what the consumer wants. They're going to go whatever direction they go. I'm not trying to put neighbors out of business that are growing beef. There's always going to be demand for beef, but there's a lot of people out there who want something different.
Yeah, and if this dude's rocking peas and making a living, let him rock his peas. Who gives a shit?
About, why are you trying to put me out of business? I'm done. I'm just looking for a new opportunity, trying to get it on the ground floor, and we'll see if it grows.
The market is growing. Just this year alone, over 300 new pea protein products launched in the U.S. New products compared to only 11 a decade ago.
Pea
Guys,
protein.
it's not enough yet to make up for China and India.
Yo, pea protein, bruh.
Wow, Jane.
Jane is like, fuck, why am I here?
With all this boom in the fake meats, that hasn't driven the price higher, but China and India, that important, huh?
They are. They account for 40% of the market. Exports account for
Damn.
65% of the market. And get this, Canada doesn't have those same tariffs. And Canada's stocks on hand of peas left over is under 10%. In the U.S., they got about 50% still sitting here waiting for a market.
Damn. Canada's killing us. Lots of beauty in peas. I don't know about all that. I don't know about the beauty of peas. I'm not a huge pea fan. Meat prices are rising following a pork shortage caused by the outbreak of African swine fever, which could create a spike in demand for plant-based products Beyond Meat. I don't know about that. African swine, that's like a stretch, you know what I mean? Like, because I can't get a pork chop, I'm not going to go get like a steak or chicken before I go totally vegan. Like, that seems like a really big stretch, right? Or not right? Is it cold as fuck in the house right now? Why is it so cold? Parts of my house are 66 degrees. Like, what the fuck? Bernstein said wholesale beef prices will likely also rise against the backdrop of rising meat prices. Consumers might turn towards cheaper alternatives like Beyond Meat. The firm has an outperform rating on the stock, 106 target, represents 44% upside. Linked to this major dislocation due to African swine fever in the global industry, we expect that the plant-based meat and other plant-based meat categories will continue to do well. As prices for plant-based products start to look cheaper than elevated animal meat prices. I don't know. That seems like a stretch to me. That seems like a pretty hard stretch. It's been a rough year. Can we call this the bottom, ACB? Can we call this the bottom, please? 219 is the lowest we got. Is this the bottom for cannabis stocks or not? Still gonna feel the pain for a few quarters. Back up 6% today. What did it do yesterday? Is that the lowest we got? Wow. That's kind of scary. We're still going down. 218 is a lower low. You know? It's not much lower, but it's a lower low. $219. So what do they say about cannabis stocks? I don't think short sellers are getting killed. I mean, I think that's a pretty big stretch to say, because the stocks have been going down all year. December mark-to-market losses in the 20 most heavily shorted cannabis stocks, more than 130 million, according to short-selling data provider S3 Analytics. Shares of Canopy Growth, for instance, are up more than 40% over the past month. Still, betting against marijuana stocks has been a winning trade for the bears in 2019. Total profits approach $1 billion. It looks as if short covering existing bearish bets is the reason for recent gains. If short covering continues into year-end, the sector rally could continue. Bearish investors sell stock short, borrow shares, and sell stock they don't own, betting on price declines. Average short interest, the amount of stock sold short relatively to the total amount of shares available for trading, is typically about 2 to 4%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Not all short sales indicate bearishness, though. Investors will sell stock short to hedge portfolio positions. Brokerage firms will sell stock short for other reasons, such as to hedge stock option contracts they make a market in. The average short interest for the 20 marijuana stocks S3 is tracking is 17%, about 8 times the average short interest in the market. There was a net decrease of 11.6 million shares of cannabis stock shorted, S3 Analytics wrote in research reported on Wednesday. Buying back borrowed shares is called short covering. It is one reason heavily shorted stocks rally from time to time. Investors cover short selling for a variety of reasons, such as taking profits, but short selling can get pricey. It costs money to borrow shares, just like borrowing money from a bank, and when the stock becomes heavily shorted, borrowing gets expensive. In the case of cannabis, it costs investors almost $3 million a day to short the sector. That is almost $1.1 billion a year. Jesus. There are two stocks that cost more than 50% to borrow, Hexo and Tilray. That means over a year, bearish investors would pay about 50% of the stock's value to borrow shares. Borrowing costs are one reason short sales are typically shorter duration trades. Short selling also typically makes stocks more volatile. The 20 cannabis stocks S3 studied are more than 10 times as volatile as the S&P 500. That's just a proxy. Individual stocks are typically more volatile than stocks in the aggregate. Investors might be surprised to learn that there are many cannabis stocks invested in. The total market cap of 20 stocks S3 wrote about is $30 billion. And the market value has dropped about 30% or $14 billion year to date. Total market cap of the 320 is only about 13% of the market value, say Philip Morris International and Altria. to talk about.
Back on 2019, as measured by the marijuana-focused Alternative Harvest MJETF, the sector is down roughly 35% on the year, despite some landmark pushes to legalize marijuana in more states. Remember, back in June, Illinois became the 11th state to legalize recreational marijuana in the country, and the first state to do so via the legislative process. The state is now estimated to become a $2 billion cannabis market, beginning with legal sales this January.
$2 billion
So more on
in
what
Illinois
could spark and whether 2020 could shape up to be a rebound year for the sector. We're joined by CFRA analyst Garrett Nelson. Garrett, it's good to see you again. What's interesting is that the MJETF enjoyed its best day since inception, right after Senator Cory Booker said he thought Joe Biden was high for not supporting legal marijuana at a federal level at the latest Democratic debate. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if those are directly connected, but do we think that legalization at a federal level is enough of a catalyst to help boost the sector next year?
Thanks for having me. Absolutely. That's really the big wild card as we head into 2020 is if there will be legalization or just deschedulization. And what you saw last month, a bill that would effectively do that passed the House Judiciary Committee and will go to the full House for a vote at some point, probably in early January. And then at that point, it goes over to the Senate, where it could be dead on arrival, just given the Senate Majority Leader's very outspoken opposition to cannabis. He may not even consider it for a vote in the Senate. But what you saw in November with that House Judiciary bill being passed is you saw a huge rally. The stocks jumped, about 20 to 30% that the week that passed. So that's really the big question heading into next year.
Well, the other thing too is, on the marijuana front, we could understand some skepticism perhaps from Senator Mitch McConnell there, as you're talking about his position on it. But when we look at CBD, that's another thing too. And we talk about the way that hemp has grown across states with his support and backing there. I mean, when we talk about CBD, what are your expectations for some legal groundwork that we haven't gotten yet by the FDA in the way that it could be used in food? Because we know that people have been selling this, and the expectations are very high.
That's right. More problematic is recreational marijuana being legalized. Still to date, it's only legal in about 11 states. So, but medical marijuana is legal in 33 states today, and that number is growing. And you can put CBD in that category where, we think it'll gradually be legalized. In the coming months and quarters. But the big question is surrounding recreational marijuana. We think that's the much larger market in the long term.
Hey Garrett, it's Heidi here. So I want to get your thoughts on what the future is for these marijuana companies, because a lot of the companies were banking on a big boost following Canada's legalization efforts late last year. It didn't really translate into adult use sales booming either. And so they bet in the U.S. That still hasn't really translated either. So is it about moving into consumer packaged goods? Is it about moving into edibles? Is it different variations? What's the future for this market?
Sure. So the problem among cannabis companies is, there's still generating widespread losses from an earnings perspective. Yet these companies are flush with cash from all the investment that's been made from beverage companies, from tobacco companies. So the balance sheets are fairly strong, actually. So you're in this period where there's not quite distress across the industry, but the industry is plagued by oversupply, and prices are falling. So overall fundamentals are very weak, and that's exactly what happened in Canada when it became legalized. All of a sudden, there weren't as many barriers to production, and you saw a flood of supply. And we expect more of the same really in 2020. The U.S. is really the big market. It's 10 times the size of the Canadian market. So it's about a $50 billion market per year. And about 3/4 of all cannabis sales right now in the U.S. take place in the illicit market.
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett, it's Chris here. I have a question for you. So I have a different sort of take on all of this outside of just
the market and growth. So obviously there's this big cannabis craze, right, in the U.S. And so even PR firms now, I see PR firms specializing just in CBD or just in cannabis. And so that's also exploded in growth. But my question to you is the following. Let's say this trend continues with legalization, across the U.S. How will that impact, criminal justice reform? And again, it's not necessarily a market question, but you have all these people who are, sitting in jail right now for things. So how is that, what are we going to see if this becomes legalized, right? And
I like
keep
this girl.
going in that
What's up?
direction? What about
Great
what's going to
question.
happen
That's a
to
really
all
good
of these
question.
people that the state is paying for right now who are in jail for this very same thing that is now going to continue to be legalized?
Are we going to let people out of jail?
Sure. So I think that's part of broader criminal justice reform.
TF Hayek, early next year, I'm going to
you're going to see a
get
lot
with you
of
on what
those
weed
sentences
stocks to get
commuted.
into. Let me know, TF Hayek.
Some of these things thrown out, and that's it actually has some support in Republican circles as well, because they view it as a positive for overall employment. A lot of people who have criminal records because of these.
Boeing, is that the worst company of the year? Most places that have legalized that have expunged thousands and thousands of criminal records. Fuck, NYC just did it. There's still a lot of people in jail, though. There's still a lot of people in jail for cannabis. He made $2.8 million trading on his lunch break. Ad. Ad. Quadrillion tons of diamonds found deep in Earth. Ad. The Bitcoin halving? What the fuck is that? If you're not a Bitcoin enthusiast, you haven't heard what's happening next year. It's called the halving, and it will cut production of the cryptocurrency by 50%. No one's in control of this process. It's a rule written into Bitcoin's underlying code by its synonymous creator more than a decade ago. The event, expected May 2020, slashes by half the number of new coins awarded to Bitcoin miners who provide global supply in the cryptocurrency. It's a big change in the market, worth about $120 billion, where Bitcoin worth several billions of dollars are created every year. Players in the know are preparing for the sharp price gains and volatility that have accompanied previous halvings, which happens roughly every 4 years, and act to both ensure the scarcity of Bitcoin and keep cap on price inflation. There's likely to be winners and losers, so market participants from Bitcoin miners and traders are trying to fathom how the next halving might play out to gain an edge. This is the biggest question right now from the most of the industry. The fracture to the production of Bitcoin provides a reminder for one reason why decentralized digital currency has confounding regulation acceptance by mainstream finance. Its fate remains tied to an arcane technological factors. In theory, if supply is cut and demand stays constant, prices rise. This time around, 7 crypto traders and miners interviewed by Reuters said halving would probably lead to greater volatility in trading volumes. However, the cut to supply is like to be more priced in than previously, they said, with many traders already gearing up for the upcoming event. Making money from swings. Bitcoin miners use high-spec computers to compete against the other mining machines, blah, blah, blah. They're rewarded with a set number of bitcoins, currently 12.5 at its current rate. Halving, they'll get 6.5. In the 1 year period, after the 2 previous halvings in November 2012 and July 2016, Bitcoin rose around by 80 times and 4 times respectively. It's not clear how much these price gains were down, blah, blah, blah. But for miners that hold large inventory of Bitcoin, volatility can also be a hindrance. For them, stability of price gives greater predictability for an investment in new gear. While Bitcoin futures contracts allow miners to hedge the risk of inventory, there are currently few tools for them to properly hedge against volatility. Huh. Very interesting. Confessional Killer, that's pretty good. Plus it's about a city just down the road from me. Wow, crazy. Show me. Too few stores. Blame the company's worse than hoped for results on too few stores. Get out of here. There's growth, lacks in earning. It makes up in sales growth, another key component to strong stocks. Year over year, Canopy's fiscal net sales jumped 229%. However, they fell from the prior quarter. Investors, for now, have looked more at quarter over quarter growth to gauge the industry's performance. Constellations, blah, blah, blah. Canopy Growth Stocks technical analysis. Consolidated from February through April, but late April the breakout attempt failed. Almost immediately, IBD advised investors to buy stock only after they rise above a certain resistance level, called buy points. After setting up proper bases, that research showed that when stocks break past such buy points after shaking out, more skeptical investors, it can mean longer run highs ahead. Hit record lows in November. Since April, the relative strength line, which compares CGC stock performance to the S&P 500, has fallen. The RS line is the blue line in the chart below. Canopy Growth stocks below its 200-day line, but it reclaimed support at its 50-day line after the company announced Klein's appointment. So that's this. Canopy Growth's rivals, for the most part, haven't fared much better. Or Cannabis, 7.5, blah, blah, most highly rated. Other Canopy News, Drake, Martha Stewart, Seth Rogen. Canopy Growth is expanding rapidly and has locked down a number of high-profile partnerships, but it's losing a lot of money in a nascent industry fought with regulation and legal hurdles. Most importantly, CGC stock isn't in any kind of base pattern. Really, IDB advises investors to wait for a stock to set up in a bullish base pattern before considering. The bottom line, Canopy Growth stock is not a buy as of December. Interesting, interesting. Will 2020 be a good time to buy a house? Economists say that 2020 will be a positive, though not exactly stellar year for the housing market, and that could be good news for renters and home buyers alike. But that's assuming experts forecast. If interest rates go up 100 basis points, we'll be off. Well, I said when you sign on the bottom line your willingness to be a forecaster, that's what you're signing up for. In the past year, as any indication, predicting the housing market's trajectory a year or more out can be something of a fool's errand. At this point, 2018 mortgage rates had just hit their highest level in years and seem poised to crack the 5% threshold. As a result, many economists expect something of a repeat of the temper tantrum in 2013. Back then, the Federal Reserve indicated that the central bank would buy fewer bonds and hike rates, cause the 10-year Treasury and mortgage rates both to jump and home sales to fall. Forecast Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac mortgage bankers made this time last year, expecting housing activity, including sales and to drop year over year in response to higher mortgage rates, but then improved as the year went on. Americans acclimated to higher rates. Housing people are the most optimistic people, but it takes a lot of optimism to buy a house and tie up your income for 30 years. Yep, that's fucking true. Forecasts usually start positive, upbeat at the beginning of the year, then you'll see them moderate by the end of the year. Blah, blah, blah. The forecasts were only part right in the first half of 2019. Mortgage rates remain high by recent historical standards, and that did cause a slowdown in sales. One that was pronounced than experts projected, but mortgage rates dropped throughout most of the year until September, when they reached nearly a 3-year low. While the drop in rates did give some sales boost, current estimates suggest they will still fall short of it. Economist predictions in 2018. Home construction activity is poised to exceed what they projected. 30-year fixed mortgage rate, change in home price, housing start. I wonder what my interest rate is. This is very interesting, huh? Because I feel like I'm over 4% on my mortgage. If we're over 4%, is it time to refi? $4.625. $4.625. Paid off almost $20,000 on this house. That's pretty nice to see. So what if I wanted to get a mortgage on a house? Mortgage payment calculator. Oh, great. Lending tree, Jeebus. Refi. Single family home. Primary home. No way. Let's enter a zip code near here. Let's just look up Cincinnati zip codes. Perfect. I don't even know where this is. Continue. I don't want to give them my fucking shizzle. Please estimate the value of the property. We got good credit. What year was I born? not giving you all this fucking info, yo. I was born June 15th. No. No. I'm never giving you that. I'm not giving you that. I have no idea. I don't even know a street in that location. 123 Main Street, motherfucker. That worked. That's awesome. First name, Bob. Last name, Job. What's your email? bobjob@com.com. Are you fucking out of your gourd right now? No, I'm not entering a valid phone number. Sucks to be whoever that is. Hell no. Let's put in just fucking 4 random numbers, right? Get out of here. Give you my social? Hell no. The fuck out of here with this. What if I want to refi? To use the down payment. What? Oh, I'm an idiot here. Huh. Property taxes of only $300. Yeah, right. Try $500 a payment. Homeowners insurance? Yeah, right. Try like $125 a payment. No HOA fees. Man, I maybe need to refi my house. I could save a lot of money refinancing my house. And that money could go into here. $30-year fixed rate. Is there a way to like refi with my current company? That holds my mortgage? Like, can I call them and be like, yeah, I'd love to just like refinance the shit I got? Refi all my debt into my house, then I just fucking sack it away onto the real estate. That's just fucking awful, you know? I just need to pay my fucking debt. Then I just pay extra on the mortgage. That's lower interest. Ooh, I like it. What is a dividend plus the 5 best paying dividend stocks? What do you got to say?
If you will. On one side, you have the dividend yielders, the high yielders. On the other side is the dividend growth. Dividends, or the yield on these equities, actually have a very large impact on total returns. For instance, if you look at the S&P 500's total return since 1960, over 80% of that return has been attributed to dividends and the compounding of those dividends. So the story that we're telling is not essentially in the traditional sense where investors are looking for current cash flow, but dividends are also very, very powerful in your attempt to create capital appreciation over the long run.
That's what I love. Capital appreciation over the long run. What's a dividend? Which are the best dividend paying stocks? In the simplest terms, a dividend is your share of a company's profit. They're typically paid out quarterly. Some companies, such as the UK, make semi-annual payouts to shareholders. The best dividend-paying stocks tend to be older, more established companies. It's important to note, not all companies make these payments. High-growth tech stocks and biotechs often forgo these payouts, instead reinvesting in research and development to enhance existing products or create new products that generate big sales. By yield, best dividends paying stocks as of December 17th include Altria, that is a tobacco company, I'll never buy it. Enbridge, we own. Philip Morris Tobacco, we'll never buy it. AT&T, we own. AbbVie, we own. Data tabs, blah, blah, blah. The REIT leaders and utility leaders, both updated each day, also offer investors a fast, easy to use list of companies with strong yield and stable earnings. You must first understand why investors buy stock. Shareholders of a company are guaranteed two rights. They can help elect a board of directors to run a company, and they are entitled to a share of that company's profits. So if a company declares a 25-cent quarterly dividend and you own 100 shares of that company, you'll receive a $25 payment. If that payment remains constant for a year, you'd be paid $100 just for owning those 100 shares. There are several types of payouts: ordinary stocks and special/extraordinary. Ordinary is the most common. According to online brokerage E-Trade, some companies may conserve cash by making payments in the form of additional shares of stock. In uncommon cases, a company can make a special or extraordinary payout. During unusual profitable years, companies can announce a special one-time payment to distribute additional cash or stock. How does a dividend work? You buy a certain number of the company's shares, for example. Let's say you own 100 shares of Chevron. The company announces it will pay out a quarterly dividend. In the case of Chevron, the oil and gas giant, said October 30th, it would hand out $1.19 per share to all shareholders. To determine your share of the profits, multiply the dividend by the number of shares you own. In this example, you'd receive a quarterly payment of $119. The company will generally send a check or make payment to your brokerage account. Some companies will offer what's called a reinvestment program, or DRIP. This allows you to reinvest the payment back into the company's stock, sometimes at a discount. There are several important dates to keep in mind when determining whether to buy a dividend stock. In the Chevron case, the company said it would make the payment to shareholders of record as of February 15th. That means anybody who owns the stock as of that date receives a payout. E-Trade Financials notes the record date is important for stock buyers and sellers alike. The ex-dividend date is a business day before the record date. Then an investor can buy a stock but won't receive the most recent payout. To compensate for this, the cost to buy a share is usually reduced. On the flip side, if you're looking to sell but still want to get the most recent quarterly payout, you must wait until the ex-dividend date to do so. You can calculate the annualized dividend yield by dividing the annual payout by the stock price. So if Chevron quarterly payout is $1.19, remains constant for all of 2019, the company will end up paying $4.76 per share. Chevron stock trades at 118. Chevron has an annualized yield of 4%. That far exceeds the 1.9 yield of the S&P 500, as noted each day in the general market indicator charts feature. Understanding a dividend yield helps to level the playing field to account for high dollar stock prices or payouts of unusually high dividends. The highest yielding dividend stocks often come from basic material stocks like oil, gas, metals, chemicals, construction, wood, and paper, followed by financials. On average, they yield 4.6 to 4.18. Boot Hillman, what's going on? It's important to keep an eye on unusually high yields, as that can be a marker the payout isn't sustainable.
savings has on the money that they ultimately need at 65. So, you know, that's what we see. If we look at the importance of various factors, asset allocation is very important, and actually investing in assets that produce a high return, like equities if you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. But more importantly, actually more important than that is people's savings.
Saving. We're trying, Boot Hillman. We're trying over here. Look at these returns, 6.3%. Yeah. We're chilling. Beating the market. Let's go. Dividends flowing in. Cannabis stocks suck balls. Canopy's up too. Like, what causes such crazy swings? What's crazy is, like, when you look at the Yahoo guy. Tell me anything you know about the cotton crop this year. I know nothing about the cotton crop. Absolutely nothing about the cotton crop. You want to look it up? Tell me about this year's cotton crop. You want the latest USDA expectations? NCC on lower cotton production forecast December 19th. The cost of continued frustration for cotton. Agriculture in Mississippi near $7.4 billion. Look at all that. Look at all that. Damn. Roll back to 2019, Mid-South Farm. Gin show in early March in his annual ag presentation. Blah, 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 blah. Louis Dreyfus Company, Biomed, 8 months, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of pain to go around. How'd we get here? Blah, 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 blah. Shit sucks. Got it. Show me some videos of cotton. Tell me about it, bro.
Hi, I'm Caleb Jones here from Palestine, Arkansas.
So it's in Arkansas.
Jim Jones. I've been farming about 16 years, and he's been farming all his life. Probably fourth generation farm, and we farm cotton and corn and beans. Most of the acres are in cotton, and, followed by corn and beans second.
Beans will be third, but that's okay. You don't
cotton this year.
Math you don't need. That's okay.
Spring things are going to be different until the trade wars fired up and cotton kind of plummeted from there. My great grandfather started farming here, and then my dad's dad farmed, and then my daddy farmed, and then I started farming, and me and my daddy's been farming together ever since.
Damn, family tradition.
School and started farming. This is the cotton picker. It's a round bale picker where we pick the cotton, and there are the little modules that come out of the cotton. And after it's picked, it's taken from here to the gin in Marianna, Arkansas, to Larry McClendon, Manning, Felton, where it is ginned, and then there the lint and the seeds separated, and we market it from there and sell it.
Really?
Well, the corn was pretty good. We had a lot of rain this year. It kind of helped. I have to irrigate as much, and so that saved us some money on the corn. But the corn yields were pretty good. The cotton, I'm not sure about yet. We hadn't had picked enough at this point to really know. I don't think it's going to be as strong as it has been in the past. I think maybe we had too much rain in some areas, but I believe it's going to be a good solid crop overall. Worst part about the crop is just going to be the economics of it. Well, it's affected.
That's wild.
Bad with the
Diversifying different crops and shit as a
from
farmer.
80 to 85 cents down to loan, which is 52 cents, and we don't know if we'll get any more than loan rate right now on the cotton, and we're going to lose a lot of money, and it barely going to, may not even cover the cost of production if
Damn.
the cotton does go up. So it's affecting us pretty bad, and it's tough. I don't know. It's one day at a time. I guess we're just leaving it in the hands of the Lord. Got to have a lot of faith. It's tough, and we just hope.
You gotta have a
later
lot of
on
faith.
that these sanctions and things get worked out, and that the markets will go up. That's all we can hope for. You know, we need to be able to cover our cost of production.
What?
And then make our ends meet here, and have a little left over. But that mainly good yield and a good price. We've got a pretty strong yield. The price is going to hurt us worse than anything.
Good yield, good price. They ain't got no price for you though. What is a cotton gin? Well, damn cotton, cotton gin. What is a cotton gin? Gin. Jesus. Cotton gin. And I'm spelling it with a J. Jeez. I want a modern one, not fucking the old one. It's crazy, that's like my shirt. Whoa, shit got real.
You have probably seen this familiar sight, and you may have spent many hours inside a gin. But have you ever seen what's happening to the cotton inside of the machine?
I've never seen this at
We
all.
will show you the cotton eye view of gin machinery. But first, let's identify the basic machinery in typical gins as you normally see them. Cotton is removed from modules with a module feeder and passes through a bowl trap to the automatic feed control, which regulates the flow through the system. From here, the seed cotton is picked up with heated air and carried through the first stage of drying and into a cylinder cleaner, which removes foreign matter from the cotton, breaks up wads, and separates the cotton. The cotton then falls into the stick machine, which removes burrs and sticks. After the stick machine, cotton is again picked up with heated air, carried through a second dryer, and into another cylinder cleaner. From the seed cotton cleaners, the cotton drops into the conveyor distributor, passes through the feeder, and into the gin stand, where cotton is ginned.
What is gin?
This is where the lint and seed are separated.
Oh.
Two very different types of gins are used. Saw-type gins are used on the dominant upland cottons, while roller gins are used for the extra-long staple Pima cotton. In each case, the seed fall out the bottom of the gin stand and are transported to storage.
Back for next year's crop.
The lint is taken from the gin stand to the lint cleaners. Most saw gins use 2 stages of saw-type lint cleaners, and many also use air-jet cleaners. Roller gins use much gentler lint cleaning systems.
It seems like a lot of energy gets used to do
and
this.
textile mill types of cleaning equipment.
Whoa, what the fuck
From
is
the lint
that?
cleaners,
Looks like a
the
torture
fiber
device.
proceeds to the battery condenser, down the lint slide, and to the press. Now let's go back and look inside each of these machines. We will follow the cotton through the microgin at the U.S. Cotton Ginning Research Laboratory at Stoneville, Mississippi. These glass-sided machines are commercial saw gin machines, which have been reduced in width for conducting controlled experiments. The seed cotton is unloaded from the module and passed through the first stage of drying to reduce the lint moisture.
What?
Notice that the cotton moves horizontally from one side of the dryer to the other as it makes its way from the top to the bottom. This path keeps the cotton exposed to the drying air long enough for moisture to migrate out of the lint and into the air. Because seed cotton is only exposed to drying air for a few seconds, most of the moisture comes out of the lint. Very little moisture is removed from the seed in gin dryers.
What?
The seed cotton then passes into the first cylinder cleaner, where it is dropped onto the revolving spike cylinders. Wads are broken and cotton is fluffed as it moves across the top of cylinders to the end where flow reverses. As the spikes whip the cotton over the grid rods in the bottom, primarily small leaf particles falls out between the rods.
This is crazy.
The cotton is discharged into the stick machine. It passes over the first cleaning saw, where the clean cotton goes directly to the next machine. Burrs and sticks, along with as much as a quarter of the cotton, is slung off over cleaning rods into the reclaimer section. The reclaimer saws and rods are similar to the main cleaning unit, but their adjustment is different to minimize the cotton discarded with the trash.
Damn.
The stick machine is designed to remove burrs and pieces of the cotton plant 1 to 3 inches long. Gins which process stripper harvested cotton are usually equipped with at least 2 stages of stick extractors, and many gins have 3 stages.
What?
From the stick machine, the cotton passes to the second dryer, where moisture is removed from the lint to the 6 to 7% range, and into the second stage of seed cotton cleaning. Some gins have an optional impact cleaner, which uses rotating serrated saws instead of grid rods to sift out more fine trash. From seed cotton cleaning, the cotton moves to the conveyor distributor, which carries cotton to the extractor feeder over each gin stand. Notice that the saw gin extractor feeder is designed similar to seed cotton cleaners. Designs vary, but most feeders include stick machine principles. They are effective cleaners because cotton has been fully dried and open when it gets to that point. But their main purpose is to meter a uniform flow of cotton across the width of the gin stand.
What?
The gin stand is the heart of the system, the machine that actually separates the seed from the lint.
This is wild.
On traditional saw
Look
gin
at that.
stands, seed cotton entered the roll box through the huller front, the final stage of seed cotton cleaning. On these gins, the seed cotton is plucked between huller ribs into the roll box. Recent super high capacity gin stands do not have huller fronts. To accomplish the actual
the seeds
separation
don't go
of the
through,
lint
but
from
it
the
sucks-
seed, the gin
sucks
saws
the
which run
cotton
between the
through.
gin ribs catch the fibers and pull them between the ribs,
Yeah,
which are
but the
spaced too
seeds
close for the
stay.
seeds to pass.
Yeah.
High-speed photographs show that the fiber is pulled from the seeds in tufts, and only part of the saws are loaded with fiber. When the seeds are cleaned, they slide down the face of the rib, fall out the bottom, and are transported to storage outside.
Just
the
straight amazed by the cotton machine. This is crazy, V-Shan. What are we
fibers are
watching
drawn
now,
from
Tough
the back
Spot?
of
We're
the
watching
saw
how
with a
cotton
brush
is
or a blast
gin.
of air, and are taken to the first lint cleaner. Some gins use air jet cleaners, which remove larger trash from the lint, while causing very little quality damage. The
Catch you later,
saw-type
bud.
lint
Cheers.
cleaner is by far the most effective cleaner in a gin. Inside the saw
Cheers,
lint
White
cleaner,
Smoke. We'll
the
see you
condenser
later.
separates lint from the conveying airstream and forms a uniform bat. The feed rolls and feed plate apply the fiber to the lint cleaning saw, which runs very close to the grid bars. The
Just
fibers
enough.
are carried under the grid bars between the sharp teeth of the spiral wound saws.
Look at all the
Trash,
seeds
being
shooting
heavier
out.
than the fibers, is slung away from the saw by centrifugal force. The trash strikes the
Centrifugal
sharp edge
force.
of the grid bar, breaks away from the fiber, and is discharged into a low-velocity airstream. The lint is doffed from the back of the saw with a brush, and is, if needed, taken to a second stage of lint cleaning identical to the first. In roller gins, the drying and seed cotton cleaning systems are similar to saw ginning, but the gin stand and the lint cleaning are quite different. Roller gin stands separate lint from seed by using the frictional forces between a moving roller and a stationary knife. Cotton is ginned as fibers adhere to the roller surface, slip under the stationary knife, which holds the seed. Each stroke of the rotary knife clears the stationary knife edge of the cumulated seed cotton and gin seed. Partially ginned seed are either pulled back to the stationary knife and completely ginned, or swept along with the seed in carryover and reclaimed later in the process. Lint cleaning and roller gins are different from saw gins. They are much gentler, doing very little to no degradation in fiber quality. When ginning and cleaning is finished, the cotton proceeds through the lint flue to the battery condenser, which removes the fiber from the airstream and forms it into a bat that falls down the lint slide into the press charging box. The tramper packs the lint until the bale is finished. Then the press is rotated and the larger hydraulic ram compresses the bale and holds it while strapping materials are applied. When the bale is finished, it is removed from the press and it is ready to be made into high-quality, comfortable clothing and textile products. A cotton gin is a combination of several individual machines which dry, clean, gin, and compress cotton. Ginning can have major impact on the value of a producer's crop, as well as the spinning characteristics of the fiber. It's critical that gins be equipped, managed, and operated to preserve the natural quality of the cotton fiber.
I think I'm gonna go get some lunch, get some work done for the day. I'll probably not be back on later. Maybe just do this again mañana. You know what I'm saying? Mañini. Who do we blast it off to here? Are we looking at just chatting? Or do we blast it off to a poker person? Anytime, brother, anytime. If we're gonna go to somebody just chatting, they gotta be like just chatting like us, right? Is there anybody out there like us? Nobody's like us in the world, chat. Nobody is like us in the world. Who do we raid, chat? This is the whole just chatting section. Start at the top. Dang, numero uno, 19K and people watching the dude. He's got the fish tank and shit. Okay, bro. Someone with less than 6 viewers. Got it. Let's scroll down. You want to get down here, huh? You want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, huh? That nitty gritty, yo. 34 viewers. Here we go. Bueller. He's got a bunch of guns behind him. Very creepy. Lots of women. Thirsty. Twitch chat is thirsty as fuck. Pedro? Do we raid Pedro? Raid Pedro, then sell him a light. Easy work. He's got a light. He's got a light. I sent him one of ours. He's got our lights. Is anybody doing stocks? What about... Who is this? Is this a human? I don't want to rip fucking ads and shit. Come on. What about coffee? There are coffee channels. Is this ad over yet? Coca-Cola, get over yourself. How much ad time do you pay for, yo?
Of Justice, a source close to tells me that the Department of Justice and Live Nation will announce a settlement over the DOJ's investigation into Live Nation.
Is somebody even here?
Yeah, I was swing trading Tesla 600 2021 and 690.
Do we ship it to
2021
this
calls.
guy?
I really don't want to look at what they are now because I don't have any more. I sold once it hit 50%. They're 11. They're 11. They're over $10 now.
Let's do it. Let's ship it to this new guy. We don't know this gentleman.
Look at the 45 cents. Oh, no. Leaps, dude. I love them leaps.
Hit that raid and chat, yo. Give him a hype. We'll see you guys later.
Oh my gosh. It's... Don't look at the past. Oh yeah. Don't look at... But we... but it's the Teslas. We have to. We gotta look...